just talk about our bra usage. I really don't mind either way. Okay, let me fix this real quick. Okay. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It has been a wild one, it seems like. Let's come to standing. With all it seems like there's a lot stirring in the air. So I want to kind of like just get our joints lubricated. So we're going to start with our hands on our hips. And I just want you to roll your foot. Simple rolls like this. You go over the top and then around to your toes. Then switch directions, go the other way. It looks like a little bit of an ankle stretch, but also just a joint preparation. Let's shift sides, go to the other foot. And this is another one, I think it's borrowed from Colliery. The last time we did this, I remember Michelle said, this is some weird yoga. Colliery is the, we'll switch sides. Colliery is the yoga version of martial arts. I've never done it, but my teacher practices and teaches it. Go ahead, bring both of your feet flat. Bring your feet together, your knees together, and we're going to do these stirring actions with your knees. We'll go clockwise a few times, and then switch, go the other direction. Kind of helps get some of the air out of your joints too. Then come back to standing. Widen your stance. Take your hands to your hips. And we'll do our favorite hip circles where you can go back to the side. You can make these really exaggerated if you want. Just get into it. Feel your way through. Let's go the other way. Switch it up. Start to see how everything feels today. Don't worry about this having to look a certain way. It's all about just exploration. Come to standing. We'll warm up our spine with a couple of movements. So bring your fingertips to your shoulders, and then we'll twist from side to side at a pretty good pace. So you're not just kind of like la, la, la. You're using some torque in your core to get a good rotation here. Feel your shoulders pop even maybe. And then let's come back to center. Slow down, nice and easy. Keep your fingertips here for starters. And then take your elbows down, out, and around to the front. Big circles, collarbones open, and then stretch in the backs of your shoulders. Probably hear your shoulders pop as well. Switch directions, go up and back. Elbows lift, shoulder blades draw together, collarbones open. A couple more here. And then release your hands to your sides. Here's that second spinal warm-up where we'll take our hands out wide. Look out for any walls behind you. And I actually want you to go fast enough to where you can arms swing in front of you and then hit your back. Get some momentum. And then come back to center. I think I may have somebody who's not muted. No, we're all good. Okay, so I don't know what I was hearing. I was hearing things. All right, now take your hands behind you, clasp your hands, take your hands over to the right. Draw your neck is in front. Draw your head back into your head, so it's above your spinal column, and drop your ear to your right. You can hang out here for a moment. Maybe take your chin to your shoulder, and then back. You could oscillate between those 2 points. And come back to the center. We'll go to the other side. Draw your neck back first, and then ear to shoulder. Stay here or bring chin to shoulder. Try the oscillations, see how that feels. And we're not using that same vigor here with our neck. Now come back to center. Knuckles reach away from your hips and down. Lift your heart without putting a big crease in the back of your neck. So you're just lifting up. Chin still stays parallel to the earth. Bend at your knees. Keep your spine long. Hinge forward. Arms come up and over. Look behind you. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck. Keep your knees really bent a lot. Like this really isn't so much about your legs being straight as it is about the shoulder stretch. So don't even worry about trying to keep your legs straight here. Then release your hands. Inhale up halfway. Press your palms into your shins. Stretch the crown of your head forward. Exhale, fold, bend your knees as much as you need to get your hands to the earth. Knees stay bent, heart reaches forward, arms come out and up. Breathe your arms above your head. Exhale through center. Let's do this one more time. Fingers clasp behind you. Move away, heart lifts. Exhale, fold forward, arms come up and over, legs bent. And then grab a hold of your elbows this time. This will feel different. This will feel more of like a stretch in your mid-back. Again, loosen up your head. Find a little bit of movement here even. Just kind of take out some of that rigidity. Find ease and fluidity in your physical body. So maybe we can find that in the conditions of our mind as well. And you take your hands down to the earth when you start to feel like you've loosened up body and mind, and step back into downward dog. You need to take a little pant pull up moment there. Go for it. And then step back into your downward dog. Move in any way that feels good to you here. Bend one knee, then the other if you want some recommendations. Ooh. And maybe take your heels over to the right. Big side stretch. Over to the left. Now putting on lotion right before this was a terrible idea. And then back to center. Lift your heels off the earth so they're right above your toes. Tuck your chin. Draw navel to spine and roll forward into plank. Shoulders over wrists. Navel draws up away from the mat. Inhale, lift from center. Use your strong core. Send you back to downward dog. Inhale, roll forward. Same thing, arrive. Use fluidity to arrive, and then strength to really nail it when you get here, to feel like you're fully embodying plank. Inhale, back into downward dog. One more time. Roll forward into plank. Stick the landing. Press into your fingertips. Draw them towards your palm. Even your knuckles lift. Press down into your hands so you're not sitting into your shoulders, but you're lifting away from the earth. Now take your heels over to the right. Shoulders stay over wrists. Inhale, heels through center. Over to the left. Heels come back into the middle. And now elbows point back. Lower all the way down. Fingertips press down, tops of feet anchor, shoulders loop, heart reaches forward, and soften back down. Let's take two more. Maybe coming up a little bit higher each time. Slowly waking up your spine and starting to broaden your ability to expand body and mind. Hold this last one for just an extra breath. or 2, and then release down to the earth. Hands underneath your shoulders, toes tuck, knees lift, navel away from mat, and then press up through plank, back into downward dog. Take a cleansing breath, deep inhale. Stick your tongue out and let's do that 2 more times. Really let everything go that happened before this or yesterday. Your only job right now, one last breath, is to breathe and stay connected with your body. Rest in that. On your inhale, reach out through your right heel. Stay with me. Exhale, draw your knee to your chest. Keep it lifted. Shift forward, shoulders over wrists. And then inhale, right leg reaches back out. Exhale, right knee into center. Now place your right foot next to your right thumb. Inhale, up into crescent. Gaze out towards the horizon. Exhale, hands through center. Place your hand underneath your nose. Follow, I should do this from this side. Follow your right elbow up. Twist open to your right. Press down through your left hand. Exhale your right hand to the mat. And then right leg comes back into a one-legged dog. Reach out through your heel. Exhale, take your knee into center. Keep it lifted. Ground your left heel. And then the right knife edge, the knife edge of your right foot reaches out to the left side. Shift the weight into your right hand. Open up your left arm. Press down through your right. Lift your hips. Exhale, left hand down to the mat. Step back into plank, or option for one-legged plank. Elbows point back, whole body hits the mat at the same time. Shoulders loop, back of neck long, and soften. Hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, knees lift, press up through plank to downward dog. Left side, reach out through your left heel. Knee to chest like you're stoking a fire. Inhale, press back out, lengthen. Exhale, knee to chest, shift forward, foot to thumb. Press down, rise up like a flame. Keep lifting through your back hamstring. Exhale, hands through center. Right hand underneath your nose. Peel up, open up towards your left side. Press down through your right hand, lift up through your left. Exhale, left hand down to the mat. Seal your palms, left heel reaches back out. Exhale, knee to center. Ground your right heel, left leg reaches out. Open up, reach your right arm up. Exhale, right hand to the mat. One-legged plank or plank, and then to the earth. Keep the back of your neck long. Find fluidity and ease, liberation, and then resilience. Strength comes back on. Plank to downward dog. Right into the right side. Reach your right heel back. Knee to chest. Inhale, stretch heel to the crown of your head. Foot to thumb. Use the energy of the earth to press down, reach up towards the clouds. Exhale, lift up through your back thigh as you come down. Right arm lifts, left hand presses down, twist. Exhale, hand to the mat. Right leg, reach out through your heel. Exhale, knee to chest, use your core. Left heel to the earth, right leg out, left arm reaches up. Collarbones open, shoulder stack. Left hand down. One-legged or plank. Find fluidity and ease. Moment of liberation. And then back to downward dog. Left side, inhale. Reach back and out. Knee to chest. Lengthen. Exhale, foot to thumb. Press down, reach your hands above your head. Exhale, hands through center. Peel open, take right ribs towards the inside of left thigh. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Ground your left hand. Left leg reaches back out. Knee to chest. Right heel lowers. Come on the knife edge of your left foot. Open up. Right palm to the earth. One-legged plank. And then down to the mat. Soft through cobra. And then strength through plank. One more time on each side. Take a moment here before you jump into it. I want to remind you that we do hard things in yoga because life is hard. So this is just practice for us when we get out there in the world and have to deal with things that are actually difficult. So stick with me here. Do this last one with your full vigor and your full dedication. Right leg, inhale. Exhale, knee to center, shift forward, shoulders all the way up towards wrist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, foot to thumb. Press down into your feet, hands over your head. Exhale, hands through center. Left hand under your nose. Left ribs towards the inside of right thigh. Exhale, hand to the mat. One-legged downward dog. Knee to chest. Left heel down. Right foot reaches out. Left hand reaches up, shoulder stack. Left hand to the mat. Plank. And then back down to the earth. Cobra pose. Through plank to downward dog. Last time, left leg. Knee to chest, strong core. Left leg reaches back. Exhale, foot to thumb. Press down, rise up triumphantly. Exhale, hands through center. Peel your left arm up. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Exhale, hand to mat. Left leg, reach back. Exhale, knee to chest. Right heel down. Left leg out. Open up. Shoulder stack. Right hand back down. Plank. And then all the way to the earth. Cobra pose. Shoulders reach back, tops of feet press down and away. Melt back to the earth. Hands underneath your shoulders, toes tuck, knees lift through plank to downward dog. I challenge you to stay with me here for 3 breaths because you can. Because we're lucky to have these capable bodies and we owe it to them to challenge them because we know that we perform best when we're challenged, and so does our body. One more deep inhale here. Exhale out. Take your knees down. Take your big toes together. Send your hips towards your heels, hands behind you, and just take a moment here in child's pose to check in. Check in with how you feel. Check in with your vitality and your strength. Become aware of it. Savor it. This is your aliveness that you've awakened. Take your hands back in front of you. And sit kneeling for a moment. I know that can be a lot of wrist work, so let's take a few of these kind of like chickeny type movements. If you have any other wrist stretches that you know that you like, go ahead. Do those for a moment because our Core work will also involve some wrist action, and we'll stretch after that too, but this will help open up for that. Okay, once you feel like you're good to go, let's go ahead and come into plank. Now, I know you guys are really excited to get there, so go ahead, take your time, arrive, shoulders over wrists, hips the same height as heels. Now take both heels over to the right and lift your left arm up so that your shoulders are stacked. If this is a lot, you could take your top leg in front of you. Either way, your hips are lifting as much as you can, whether your foot is in front of your right, on top of your right, or left foot flat. Now with your hips high, shoulders open, take your left palm behind your head. Hey. And then take elbow to elbow. Inhale, press down to your right hand, open up. Exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, shoulders open on, and they're stacked. Exhale down. I know your arm is feeling it, but stay with it. Inhale, open. Exhale down. Inhale, open. One more. When it gets comfortable, that's when the good change is happening. Elbow to elbow, press down to your right hand, open up, lift your left hand in victory, ground your left hand, and bring your knees back down to the earth. Let's do a little bit of shaking out of our right hand. Take a moment, maybe take some circles with your shoulders. And if you're wondering, how is this core work? All I feel it is in my shoulder. You're also doing a lot of oblique work here too, which is what we're targeting today with this movement. Guess what? We get to do the other side now. So find plank first. Find yourself in plank first. Shoulders over wrists, hips the same height as your shoulders, and then take your heels to the left. You could, and then lift your right arm up. Just like before, your options are right foot flat, hips lift, right foot in front of left, or right foot on top of left. Either way, you're actively pressing down and away with your left hand so that you can lift your hips high as possible. Now take your right hand behind your head, give yourself a little hey, and then inhale. Exhale, bring elbow to elbow, press down into your left, open up. Exhale. Inhale, expand. Hips stay high. You're not just lifting, you're also pressing down and away with your left hand. Inhale, open up. Two more. Stay with me. Come fully open. Don't half it. Inhale, open up all the way. One more time. Exhale, close. Inhale, shoulders stack, collarbones open. Right hand opens up in victory. And then without collapsing, come first through plank. And then bring your knees down. And we'll go through some wrist stretches together. Maybe you want to shake them out, do a little shoulder roll. Good job. All right, now take your hands, if you're on your, come to your hands and knees first, and we'll come to the backs of our hands. You can tuck your toes and then start to kind of come back. See how far back you can go without lifting the backs of your hands off the mat, even if it's not very far. And then we'll take palms to the mat, wrist point out. And do the same thing. Keep your hands flat, sealed into the mat as you sit back. Ooh, that's a big one. And then bring Again, backs of your hands to the mat, but fingers face towards each other. And then turn your little fingers in towards your palms, the little gorilla wrists. And you may feel kind of differently as you shift forward and back. And have a seat, toes tucked. Yep. Toes tucked, sit back on your heels. Unless this is so torturous that you can't contain it for a few seconds. And then in that case, you could sit like this, and we'll just shake our hands out, stretch the backs of our feet. Maybe take some shoulder rolls. And then bring your hands down to the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, and find downward dog. Take a big breath in. Exhale, grounding breath as you settle into your downward dog position. Inhale, reach your right leg back and up as high as you can. Press your right foot up and your left heel down. Bend at your right knee so that your hips open. Keep your shoulders square to the front of the mat so that you're not collapsing through your left side. And when we do that, we turn this into a back bend rather than a hip opener. So I know this is a long time in downward dog. We'll go ahead and bring our knee in to center. Lift your left heel, look back towards your knee, shift forward, and place your right foot between your hands. Ground your back heel, and follow your left hand up and over for warrior two. Just stand for a moment in your own power and your own strength and feel that in every single limb. Feel it in your arms so they're reaching out as far as they can. Your hands are completely open. Your fingers are a part of this. No part of your leg is forgotten. Draw your back knee up towards your hip to turn on the inside of your back leg. And just stand here for a moment and feel your own strength. Feel your own power. Now inhale, reach your arms over your head, lift your hips just an inch. Exhale, settle back into it with strength. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, refortify. Two more. Press your feet down and away as your hands come down. Inhale, energetically pull your feet towards each other as you lift. Exhale, hands come back towards your shoulder, arms come out, shoulder length. Your shoulders are open towards the left side of your mat, and let's keep them that way. And bring your left hand towards your left hip. Then shift forward, look towards a spot that's about 6 inches or so in front of your right pinky toe, and we'll hop your back foot in. Now you notice that what happens is here, is our shoulders turn down towards the mat. As you lift your back leg, left heel points out, I want you to open your shoulders and stack them just like we did in our core work. So they're right below your right hand. Once you've gotten this and you're stable, check back and see if you can see your left foot. Your left toes, you should be able to see in front of your body. It's easier to balance if our foot is behind us, but we came here to challenge ourselves. And once you've got all that in place, then you could lift your left arm. Keep flexing your left foot. Keep shoulders stacked. You're not turned to earth, but you're open. You're creating this really expansive posture. One more breath here. Softly bend your right knee. Step back slowly into warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Turn your toes towards each other. Interlace your fingers behind you like we did in the beginning. Take your hands away from your hips. Lift your heart. Exhale, hinge forward with bent knees. Spine long. Arms come up and over. Gaze behind you. Neck is loose. If it feels good, you could maybe shift your weight from one foot to the other, but it's certainly not required. And maybe movement is not what you need today. Maybe stillness is what you need. And take your hands down to the mat. Lengthen out halfway up. Pivot towards the front. Ground your back knee, or actually just step back into plank. Shoulders over wrists, and exhale all the way down. Shoulders loop. Move like Mercury. Soften back down. Hands underneath your shoulders, toes tuck, knees lift, and back to downward dog. Inhale your left leg straight back. Lift your leg as high as you can. So you're pressing down through your right heel, lifting up through your left toes. Maybe bend your left knee. Hips open, shoulders square. So your knee might come down just a little bit. That's okay. That means it's stretch is coming more from your hip. Shoulders are square, hands pressing towards each other without moving them. Let's help keep our shoulders stable. Now take your knee in towards your chest. Lift from center. Shift forward. Keep your gaze towards your knee. Arrive with shoulders over wrists. And then place foot between hands. Ground your back heel. Heel to arch alignment. Follow your right hand up and over. Again, notice where you are in your stance. See if you're reaching forward. Sometimes we have this tendency to want to reach and cling and grasp. So just come back into neutral. Shoulders over your hips. Stay within your own center rather than trying to get towards the next thing. Collarbones open. Lower ribs draw in. Lift up through the crown of your head and down through your hips. Pull your back knee up towards your back hip to activate your adductors. Now inhale, pull your feet towards each other. Energetically feel the adductors to come alive. And exhale, press your feet down and apart. Changes which muscles you use. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, refortify, restabilize. Lift up, breathe in. Exhale, settle in. One more. Expand and fortify. All right, now take your right hand towards your hip. Find your drishti spot for Ardha Chandrasana. Should be about 6 inches in front of your left pinky toe. Move mastoof. Hop forward. Lift your back leg. Toes point towards your right side of your mat. Foot really flexed. Leg parallel with the earth. Then open your shoulders so that you're not turned towards the mat. Make sure that your right foot is in front of you, not behind you. And once you've got all those things taken care of, reach your right arm up. Press down through your left, reach up through your right. Keep your left side long, just like by moving your left hip back slightly. Keep reaching out through your right heel. You're reaching forward through the crown of your head, up through your right hand, back through your right heel, and pressing down into your left hand. This one really gets us moving in all directions, but it also stabilizes us. Now bend your bottom knee, step back into warrior two with control. Straighten your front leg, turn your toes towards each other. Inhale, float your arms above your head without too much fanfare or force. Shift the weight towards your toes and exhale, hinge forward. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. So the weight's in your toes rather than your heels. When it's in your heels, it looks like this. When it's in your toes, you're shifted forward like this. Spine is long. And keep your hands here. Point your elbows back, and we'll just fold forward. And then inhale, tuck your chin, lengthen back out. Keep the weight in the front of your foot, maybe even lift your heels just slightly. Exhale, fold. Chin tucks as you lengthen back out. Use your back to help you come to horizontal. Exhale, fold, elbows point straight back. Inhale, back to center one more time. Check in with your feet. Long spine, back to neutral. And then pivot to the front of your mat. Left foot in front. Step back into plank. And exhale down to the mat. Tops of feet anchor. Shoulders loop. Heart opens. Release. And back to downward dog. Last wave. Take a cleansing breath if you'd like. Inhale your right leg back, just one breath up. Exhale, knee to chest, lift from center. Use your strong core. And then place your right foot between your hands, just like last time. Left heel anchors. Seal the outside edge of your left foot into the mat. Follow your left hand up and over again for warrior two. This time we'll add on. Take the back of your left hand to your sacrum, which is the little place right at the small of your back. Or maybe your left hand travels forward, so the palm of your left hand is on your right thigh. Right knee stays as close as you can to right over your right ankle. And then with your left hand, you're going to press down and forward. Now flip your front palm. Press your right knee forward as you reach your right hand up and over. Gaze back towards your left foot and pull your left knee up towards your left hip. So I don't really care how far back you go. I care more about the base of this position being solid rather than finding the ultimate side bend. Right pinky twist down, right hand is reaching away from your shoulder. As this starts to get really loud in one leg or another, broaden your awareness. Maybe think about your forehead or your jaw or where you're adding tension unnecessarily. It's easy to add strain where we don't need it. Just because we make it look hard doesn't mean we're actually trying harder. Now keep the length in your right side. Shift forward and gaze to the spot in front of your right pinky with your left hand behind you. Hop your back foot in. Same thing. Lift your back foot. Now, bring your back heel towards your back or towards your glute. Stay here reaching for your back foot, or maybe grab a hold of the outside edge of your left foot. Check in with your shoulders, open them. This is all for naught if we face towards the earth. This is about expansion. So open your collarbones so that your shoulders stack, hips open, and then you're going to press your foot into your hand and your hand back into your foot. This is Ardha Chandrasana Chapasana. If you fall out of it, that's okay. You can get back in it. There's a big stretch on the inside of our right leg and in your left quad if you're really pressing. You should be open to the side and not facing the earth. Now to come out of it, let's first stop in Ardha Chandrasana where we were before. Softly bend your standing leg without making a noise. Step back into Warrior Two. Straighten your front leg. Inhale your arms up over your head. Slight bend in your knees as you hinge forward. Bring your hands down to the mat and pivot towards the front. We're gonna do pigeon, but I think we'll do it at the end. So go ahead and step back into plank. Elbows point back and down to the earth. I'd rather get you guys down and then keep you there. Shoulders loop. Front of your body expands. Exhale, back down. Hands underneath your shoulders, toes tuck. Front of your body is now more contained. Navel to spine. Press up and back to downward dog. Left leg reaches back. Exhale, take your knee into center. Right heel lifts. Follow your knee as you come forward and place your foot between your hands. Right heel down. Knife edge of your right foot sealed into the earth. Follow your right arm up and over. Shoulders open. Warrior Two. Take the back of your right hand to your sacrum. Check in with your front knee. Make sure it's over your front ankle instead of here. It'd be here as much as possible. And maybe sneak your right hand to your right thigh. Press down and forward into your right thigh. Flip your front palm open and bend your front knee more as you bring your left hand up and over. So you're expanding the distance between your left shoulder and your left hip. Left pinky rotates down towards the ground. Keep pulling your back knee up towards your back hip. So that full support of this structure. Gaze could be down. If it's easier on your neck, does not need to be up. Really preference. One more breath here. Stay strong. Now keep the length in your left side. Let your left elbow lead. Left hip moves back as your left elbow comes forward. Reach for the spot in front of your left pinky. Hop your back foot in. With control, lift your right foot up from the earth slowly. Toes point away from your body. Foot very flexed. Sending lots of energy out through your right heel. Turn or bring your right foot in towards your glute. Stay here, reaching for your foot, or grab a hold of the outside of your foot. Now turn your shoulders open, and press hand into foot, foot into hand. So the goal is not to create this pose necessarily. It's really to create expansiveness in the front of our body by stacking your shoulders. If trying to make this more expressive turns us towards the earth, we start to lose the integrity of this asana. One more breath. Come out through Ardha Chandrasana, right hand up, bend your left knee, step back into warrior two. Bring both, straighten your front leg. Reach your arms up over your head. This is just for transition. Exhale, hinge forward. Pivot towards the front of the mat and step back into plank. Exhale with control down to the earth. Fingertips press down. Shoulders loop. Front gates open. Exhale back down. And then instead of downward dog, press back through tabletop. Take your feet to the side. And then bring the soles of your feet together. We're going to spend about a minute in pigeon on each side. So I like to start from here because it's kind of a nice way to keep us all grounded. We'll do this side first. So from Baddha Konasana, you'll just shift the weight into your left hip and then take your right leg behind you. So your right knee is pointed towards the right side of the mat. So this is Z pose. You could either stay here in Z pose on your elbows or even more folded forward, or you can keep going with your back leg, turn your toes so they're tucked down and your heel up, or you could flatten the top of your foot and come into full pigeon pose. Maybe if your left foot feels like it's in too much towards your body, you might want to experiment with bringing it forward even just a couple of inches. It will change the sensation in your left hip quite a bit. And if your left hip is really lifted, I would recommend placing a pillow underneath it. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Find some place where you can settle into. Tune into the conditions of your mind. Check in on it like you would check the weather. Shift weight back into your left hip. If you're on your forearms or your hands, press yourself back up. Swing gently your right foot back around. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Shift the weight into your right hip. Take your left leg behind you, starting here in Z pose with your knee pointed towards the outside. This is a great place to be, especially if you have a hard time in pigeon pose. Or extend your left leg out long. Find a position for your right shin that works for you. And then make this kind of a meditation. We're not going to be here for long, so find something that's challenging enough to create growth. something that's between a dentist office visit and a bubble bath. Begin to lift yourself off the floor. Shift your weight into your right hip carefully. Swing your left foot around. Place both feet down flat on the earth. Reach your hands forward and slowly make your way officially down to the mat. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins and rock from side to side. Begin to let your breath move downward. Connect with the places where your body meets the earth. Soften your shoulders and forehead, preparing your body for your rest. And then our legs lengthen out. Feet as wide as your mat. Palms open, embracing the expansion that we created today for your Shavasana. We'll be here for a minute or so, a little longer, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Without moving, become aware of the space around you. Keeping your eyes closed, deepen your breath, awaken your physical body with small movements of fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Reach your arms above your head. Stretch from end to end. Bend at your knees and roll to one side, pausing for just a moment. This place of rebirth before you enter the next phase of your day. Ask what lens you would like to see it through. You're feeling a sense of calm. Could you see the rest of your day through that groundedness? Then press yourself back up into a seated position when you're ready. Bring your palms together at your heart. Grow tall through the crown of your head, sitting dignified. Thank you all for coming here today to support yourselves and each other. Thank you to the people in our lives who have made it possible for us to have this practice together today. May you and all living things be safe, be happy, be healthy, and live with strength and ease. Namaste.